Barcelona doesn't want your money. Investors are fleeing. They're seeking better investment opportunities everywhere else. And the Golden Visa program is ending. But not to fear, we've got some other opportunities for you, including some very interesting investment opportunities if you still want to do the Golden Visa before it closes. So I was in Barcelona a few weeks ago with some friends, played a bit of paddle, had a few pinchos, lovely, lovely city, but facing a lot of challenges with not so great migration, pickpockets, street crime, and also tourists being sprayed with water pistols because they are not wanted anymore. Now, this is something that I spoke to some of my friends and they said, we're not being made to feel welcome. A good friend of mine, digital nomad, said he was there for 8 months. He said, I didn't feel welcome, so he's actually going to Poland. It's a city which the mayor has recently announced that he is going to revoke a lot of Airbnb licenses because he said that it is preventing Catalans, locals, from getting accommodation. I don't think that's going to fix the problem. I think lack of housing being built and through licensing is the main issue, and too much immigration is the main issue. But this is what he says. What kind of impact is this going to have on the housing market? Well, I can tell you, investors will be selling their property. New investors will not be buying. It already had an existing challenge with squatters' rights. So this video, we're going to tell you about what you can do with your money if you do want to be in Spain. So to give you some context, the average price per square meter in Barcelona is around 4,000 euros. The average rent is 25 euros per square meter. Now, what's going to happen is that those prices now are going to come down a little bit because of this new legislation. Even though the legislation hasn't come into effect, the fact they're talking about it is going to make investors start to offload their investments. The reason behind this is because the mayor is saying that this is impacting housing and is making it difficult for new first-time buyers to buy properties, making it difficult for the local Barcelona residents to be able to acquire real estate. Long-term rent has increased 70% in the last decade. Cost of buying a house has risen by 38%. This is no different from a lot of other countries. As I mentioned, this is something that could be very easily fixed. Inflation is everywhere. It's not just houses, it's on food, it's on groceries, it's everywhere. But he mentioned that no new tourist apartments would be allowed, that it's affecting the fabric, the societal fabric, because of all the tourists that are coming in. I mean, even though maybe today it doesn't like so many tourists, it's heavily reliant, as much of Europe right now, as I've noticed in the summer, on the foreign income that is generated from all the tourists that visit in the peak seasons of the summer. And Barcelona is also not limited to the summer. It's a year-round tourist destination. So 9,000 illegal tourist apartments have already been shut down. We have also 3,500 apartments which have already been reconverted to be able to provide supply, and now 10,000 which will be coming in with the confiscation of the tourist licenses. So before I mention about the opportunities that I saw in Valencia, let's talk a little bit about the Golden Visa. Why are they trying to close down the Golden Visa? Partially it's pressure from the EU. That goes without saying. If you look at what's happened with the increase of the price in Portugal, Greece, you've got the program in Ireland, which got closed down. And now you have Spain, which is mentioning that they want to close down the whole Golden Visa program. You can join the dots and see what's going on. You've got Hungary, which is coming up. Thank God for Viktor Orban, the bad boy of Europe, for having some common sense. But ultimately, Spain, it wasn't really getting a lot of the demand for Golden Visa, but it seems that now there is just too much political pressure for them to continue from the EU. But then also they look at it themselves and say, hold on, there's multiple categories of Golden Visa. However, all this time, investors were nearly always going for the real estate option. It wasn't generating anything for the non-real estate options. There was the bank deposit, the investment in the company. Nobody did that. They just went for the properties, and they put two and two together and said, you know what, time to close it down. They cancel the whole thing. They're not even going to increase the price. They're not going to even change any parts of, reduce the real estate option, nothing at all. They're closing the whole thing. So I went to look at 3 of their projects in 3 different locations. So Diagonal, Poblenou, and Eixample. Very interesting to see how they calculated the price for each of these things, what you'd get for 500,000 euros, which I could tell you comes down to 350 in terms of net upfront cost. But what I liked a lot about it was the fact that it's commercial. So I'm an investor in commercial property. I'm a lot more overweight commercial than residential. What I liked about it is that a lot of investors don't look at it. So the money to be made is in that area, in my personal opinion. Because it's commercial, you have a long-term tenant, so you're not going to have any surprises with rent. Because it's commercial, there's less competition, and so you're not going to be having to compete in terms of large broker fees. And because it's commercial, it attracts less taxes as well when you acquire the property. So because of these three reasons, I can see that as being very attractive. Peace of mind investment, you don't have to get involved, less upfront capital. And if you do the calculations, we'll share with you. If you want to click on the website, we'll show you the whole rundown so you can see the calculation. That is because I've seen the projects they're doing firsthand. I like that one a lot. If you don't want to do this and you want to do 500,000 euros and you would choose any property that you want, residential, you can go to Madrid, you can go to Barcelona, you can buy a holiday home in Malaga, or if you like, Sierra Nevada, or near the Andorra, on the border of Andorra, wherever you want. But I think people are not really looking at Valencia as an investment opportunity. The third largest city is 60% price per square meter than Barcelona, and it is literally on the same coast, 3 hours south by a drive. Has an international airport as well. To get to Ibiza and Mallorca is the same distance by plane as well. So I think Valencia is something that investors really need to look at. But remember, the Spanish Golden Visa is different to the Portugal Golden Visa and the Greece Golden Visa. The Spanish Golden Visa requires presence. That's one of the reasons why Greece is very attractive, permanent residency. Portugal, 2 weeks every 2 years. If you're coming from a former Spanish colony, the time that you'll get to citizenship is 2 years as opposed to 10 years for everybody else. So if you're Philippines, South America, that's very attractive. I think that's something that if you tick those boxes, really very interesting for you to have a look at. Barcelona was nice having a look around. There's always some wonderful gems there in terms of vermuterias or going to restaurants, rooftop bars. It still retains a lot of its cosmopolitan vibe. I think it's just you could feel more the resentment towards tourists and tourist dollars, but also to non-residents, to digital nomads, to foreigners. I spoke to some friends of mine. I played paddle with some friends of mine there, and they brought some Americans. Actually, one of them wasn't any more American. He was Kittian from St. Kitts, and he asked me to help him out with a few things there. Some of them were happy being in Barcelona. They still loved it. They've been there for many years. But I noticed that much more than previous trips, others were feeling that there were better places for them to raise their family. As I mentioned, one of my friends, he's now gone to Poland. Another one is moving south to Sitges, which is outside of Barcelona. So still he gets a lot of the benefit, but the cost of living there was much less, and he felt that the family benefits were better as well. But generally feeling amongst expats, but also within even Catalans themselves, Catalonian friends, they were also feeling that this is not really what it once was. It's quite sad to see, but this is the general impression I was getting. And I think that with this local government saying that we're against tourist accommodation and then tourists not feeling welcome, I mean, this is a dangerous path to take, because it doesn't take too long before suddenly your tourists are going other places where they feel more welcome, such as south of France or Italian coastline. And before you know it, you've lost probably your best quality visitors, which is foreigners who pay good money, tip well, consume a lot, need drivers, who need food shopping, hotels. I mean, the indirect income that you will generate from this, I think they could be making a big mistake having this kind of feeling towards foreigners, short stay and long stay. So in summary, I think now there's a little bit of urgency that's required. I think with the Spain Golden Visa now coming to an end, I think for those investors who haven't done it, I would give some consideration to the option at 350,000 euros where they advance you the rental income. You don't want to get involved with the headache and dealing with property managers and renovations and, plumbing, or, there's a problem with the shower and the front door doesn't close. I've dealt with a lot of those headaches in Europe, getting people to manage your property, even the property managers themselves. I've not had good experiences in Europe. So that offer sounds to be pretty good. If you want more information, contact us below. I think on the other hand, if you are Filipino or you do have South American roots, I would definitely jump on that, because 2 years through 350,000 euros in real estate to be able to exit it, get your capital gains, get any rental income, if you're doing the 500,000 euros, and then be able to a European tier 1 second nationality within 2 years, I think is something that's really worth giving consideration to. On the other hand, the other option, which is a very attractive program now, that because of the backlogs we're facing in Portugal, a lot of clients who are doing the highly qualified option, they are going to the Spanish option faster because there's just a lot less volume. That one is very attractive. And thirdly, if you're looking to basically move to Spain, but you want to benefit from a tax regime, you've got what was previously called the Beckham law, which is now the Mbappe law. It's around 20%. They've got that one now that Kylian Mbappe went to Real Madrid from Paris Saint-Germain. If you want to go to Spain, that's the one that you want to do. Me personally, it's still not the best. You know, okay, Portugal, you've got the NHR that's closed, but you've also got the Italian lump sum, and you've got other countries as well which have attractive options. But if you are going to go to Spain, that's the one you want to do. So am I being harsh on Barcelona? Am I being accurate on Valencia? Let me know your thoughts. Here at Millionaire Migrant, we are the key and principal advisors on your global tax strategy, global investment opportunities. We have a decade and a half of experience in citizenship and residency options. Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you on the other side.